covers it up. Performance-wise though, this thing does have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chipset inside of it, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 540 GPU, and 4GB of RAM. There's only one model of this device, which is okay. Like I said, it had a micro SD card slot. And what's funny is that typically when I talk about these type of phones, like I already know in the back of my head that it is a slower phone. It doesn't have the most amount of capabilities. It is, a bit dated, so it's not going to be smooth or anything like that, or as smooth as something that came out this year. But honestly, the panel itself, the way it performs and everything, it just gives me the illusion that it actually may be a lot faster than what it is. And what's funny is that I compared it to a lot of phones throughout this year, 2019 or 2020 and 2019 and all that stuff, and I found that the S8 was still pulling up some really good numbers and pulling up apps, and really surprising me with how good the performance was of the Galaxy S8. I think I compared it to the iPhone 12, I compared it to the iPhone 11 Pro, I compared it to the S10, the S20s, the Note 20s, and honestly this phone had done a really good job at that time. And even going into 2021, it's still a pretty good performing phone. I think the things that really, or the problems with it, is the RAM. I feel like the RAM probably is the bigger problem with it. If I needed to, I could probably go day to day and use this phone perfectly fine. Now, would I love it? I don't know if I would love it, but I don't know if I would hate it. I would be very probably like in the middle of it. But I think for day to day use, this phone has a lot of capability still, and I think the performance is still there. Now, with that being said, it does kind of glitch up a lot. The RAM management, like I said, isn't that great. So if you put a bunch of apps in the background and you try to go back in them, it's not necessarily going to give you the best experience ever. It definitely is going to show you, a lot of glitchiness and all that kind of stuff. But as I said before with a lot of other phones, once the apps are loaded, once you're on Snapchat or you're on Instagram or whatever, it's smooth sailing for the most part. You're going to have a pretty good experience. It just so happens that when you go ahead and take it up a notch and you try to do a bunch of crazy things and play a bunch of big games, you're probably going to run into some problems. But I think for the most part, you're probably going to have a okay experience when it comes down to the whole entire performance of this phone. So performance wise, I'd probably give it maybe like a 7 out of 10, maybe, for being a 4-year-old phone as of this point. So in terms of performance, that pretty much covers it up. Now,